Hello guys, hello everyone. Let me check if everything is good and if you are there. Okay, I think now we are good. Hello guys, hello everyone. I will try to display the chat there also so I can read the question. Nice. Okay, it's art. Everyone is asking what is DD. Hello guys, hello everyone. Could you just tell me in the chat section if you can hear me well? Today is, I think it is great day because we got some special guests tonight, and we are going to talk about GD. What is GDE? What is also being Flutter? Uh, Let me just check if my connection is wired. Okay, perfect. What is Google Developer Expert? So tonight we are going to delve directly in and try to really understand what this means. So I'm going to let our special guest here, called Mr. Bright Sunu, just enter, and we are going to start. Hello, Bright.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. I
Nice
hope you
to.
are doing great. What's up?
Yeah. I'm doing well.
Okay, it is a very great pleasure to have you there because I think this topic is very interesting. We are going to discuss a lot and also try to learn a lot because, especially, I have my few idea, but you as Google developer expert, you are going to explain us what doesn't really mean and what is the benefit of being Google developer expert. We are going to delve in this subject tonight, and I hope people are going to like it.
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
So I hope to.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, I want you to present yourself because especially I have been following you like since some month now. I got to read some of your content. I really appreciate and like it, and I want you to present yourself so people can know who you are and yeah, why are you here? So,
Yeah, okay. I am Bright Autonom. So, no, I mean, I usually go with Bright or Autonom. I'm a software engineer, but my focus is more on the mobile side. So, I usually go by mobile engineering. Um, I'm currently a GD, so Google Developer Expert for Flutter in that.
okay.
And I mean, aside mobile, I also write a lot of backend. I mean, Ruby, Java, Kotlin, even that at the backend. I mean, I'm always there. I mean, apart from doing community work, speaking at events, writing articles, recording videos, I like gaming a lot. So, I mean, usually probably Friday night, you catch me online, always playing games, right? Yeah. So basically, I mean, that's it. That's me. That's Eternal. Yeah.
Okay, I think that is perfect. And before we start talking about the program itself, how did you learn programming, or how did you came first of all at programming? Because before being as you as software engineer, I mean maybe you just got at school first, or you learned from yourself, as a lot of people. How did you delve in programming first? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I actually learned programming in the university. So prior
Okay.
university, I didn't really know anything about programming, right? I remember back one point in high school, I had this friend that there was one time he brought this huge book and it was written on it Java. And when I opened it, I mean, there were a lot of things in there. I didn't understand any. So I was like, wow. I mean, good for him. But I did electrical and electronics at high school. So my all my focus is, well, I'm going to be an electrical engineer. Like I'll go to university, go and further electrical engineering, and just continue, right? But I mean,
Okay.
things didn't go that way. When I went to university, I actually went to offer information technology management. So more or less the business side of IT. Right? And that was when I actually met a friend, Shandov. So Shandov had a little programming knowledge, and he had friends in another school that were more focused on like hard like programming, right? So he used to give us like tutorials. We get us tutorials from that school, and we usually just watch and also practice. So I mean that's actually my first contact with programming itself, and that
Okay.
was in VB and C++. You know, the one that you type in your name, you type in your age, then you type in your grade, then to tell you whether you got an A or a
Yeah.
B. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's the fundamental, right? And creating browsers with VB, creating desktop applications with VB, and all that. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's basically how I started my programming journey. It was basically in the university level 100, and then yeah, basically that's it.
Oh, okay. Okay. That sounds great. And um I think a lot of people in asking in the comment section, uh, yeah, just to make sure. Yeah. Okay. I think everything is good now. Okay. Yeah. I think a lot of people are asking in the comment section like, what is GD? Now we can delve directly in the subject and try to first of all like um, define what is GDE because since I think for like many years now, a lot of people are putting in social media, especially on LinkedIn, that I'm GDE for Google. I got just my GDE certificate, but we want to know what is GDE first. Yeah.
Okay, so GDE basically standing for Google Developer Expert is
Okay.
it's just a community, right? A community of professionals, very talented professionals that are very passionate about sharing knowledge and also like teaching others in any Google technology, right? So if you are a GD, you are GD in a particular Google technology. So you can be a GD in Google Cloud. Machine learning or AI. I think now it's called AI. You can be GD in
Okay.
Flutter and that. You can be GD in Google Workspace, GD in Google Earth, GD in Google Maps, Google Maps. So basically, I mean, I think there are about 16 of them, 16 areas that you can become a GD in. So when you go to the GD website, I think it's called developers.google.com.
Mm.
When you go to the community side, you see experts there. You can go through the areas or the technologies that you can become a GDE in. So a GDE are basically
Okay.
they are not like Google employees, no, like they are individual like professionals themselves, but they just love sharing what they know. Yeah.
Okay. So is it, can we say that like being a GD, is it some kind of certificate you got after you pass some test, for example, or not?
Yes. So, I mean, to become a GD, there's a process, right? So, you need to file in your application. So, you need to basically apply. And before you can apply, I mean, there are two ways to be more or less giving basically the link to apply. So, you can either be nominated by a Googler or another GD
Mm.
in that field. So if you are going for GD for Flutter, and another GD in Flutter can nominate you, right? Or someone working at Google that's probably working on the Flutter in that team can nominate you.
Mm.
That, okay, I mean, I've seen this guy's content. it's very great. I believe
Mm.
you can be someone that will be very beneficial to the community, right?
Okay. So, it means that being part of GDE of like Google Developer Expert community is I think they decide to select people who are very benefit for the community, right? Because you have just list like a lot of tech or like tools, for example, like Flutter, Dart, or I don't know, Google Workspace, and many others. So I think the most important, maybe I'm wrong, but just tell me if it's right or not. The most important is people who really like sharing with community, right?
Yeah. So the underlying is people who are just passionate about sharing knowledge, right? I mean, that
Mhm.
is the main focus of being a GG.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so what motivates you first to become like GDA? Because I suppose you just say like few minutes ago that you were a student who was learning in the tech, decide to be engineer. So yeah, that's very well. But how, like, what was really your biggest motivation to say, oh, now I want to become like Google developer expert on some specific technology, for example, Flutter. Yeah.
All right. So before probably like last 2 years, I really didn't know anything about GD. Like honestly, like I've been in tech for back then that'll be about 4 years, but I didn't really know. I mean, I've been seeing them around, but I mean,
Like me.
I just didn't know like what they do, right? And
Yeah.
um, I mean, I started doing Flutter since 2018. Yeah, somewhere in November.
Okay.
That's when I
Okay.
actually published my first like repository on GitHub. And
Okay.
I mean, after then, I've been doing a lot. I've been speaking on Flutter, writing articles, recording videos, teaching others, mentoring like some students. So one thing I did was, I mean, I worked closely with my local GDG, so Google Developer Group, Accra.
Okay.
So I used to work with Google Developer Accra a lot. So I became like their go-to speaker on Flutter and that. So if there's any events that has Flutter and that, I mean, I'm the one they basically call, right? So that's given me a lot of exposure. So in that regard, the the lead was like, look, I think you should become like a JD, like you should apply for this. You've been doing this for a
Okay.
very long time, like longer than anyone I know, but you haven't showed the interest. I was like, oh, let me think about it. So I actually went online right, to research what this they do, what it's about, and I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, like, let me just go for this, right? So he then spoke to the Googlers, the ones that are in charge of the community, and funny enough, they most of them actually know me because of
Okay.
what I usually do for the community. So when he actually told me, I remember one of them got back to me and was like, he seemed surprised why I haven't applied like a long time ago because he actually met me physically somewhere in 2019, right? And this is like 2022 that like we're having this conversation. So it was like, why didn't I? I was like, I didn't really know whether I'm fit for it. It was like, nah, I mean, I've seen you speaking at a lot of events, right? So I mean, you should go for it. So I was given the form and I applied. Um, but before my my process started, I was given a mentor, so someone who is also
Yes, but before that, like before talking about your mentor, like you just decide to go directly on the like Google Developer Expert link and just fill the form, or how was the main question of the form, for example?
okay. Yeah. So I mean, the link that they give you is actually very special. So like you can't access it like publicly. Like you can't. It's not something that you
Okay,
can even share outside, right? And
is it some kind of reference link?
yes, so it's a
Okay.
referral link. You basically state who referred you and like all your information. There's one thing that's very important that you have to actually do is something we call the community CV, right? So
Okay.
community CV is everything that you've done in the community, right? All the events that you spoke at, all the articles you wrote, all the videos that you recorded, all the packages that you wrote, all the open source contributions that you made. Basically, I mean, everything that you've done, which is like outside your normal like duty or profession, like right, like that is your community CV, and it's actually very important. I advise everyone, not only developers or engineers. I mean, once you're in any profession at all, just keep a document. Mine is just a Google Docs, right? um, Keep in like, let's say you spoke at this event or you're invited to this event, right? And the event title, the date, a link to the flyer or the video recording or something, right? Just keep all this record because I was actually asked and I didn't have one, right? So I now had to now go online, going through all of my posts on Facebook, Twitter, like
Mm.
LinkedIn, looking for events I spoke at. I mean, it was crazy, but I was able to get something, and I added it to the application because you need to include it. So that's what they actually look at to decide whether, I mean, you are fit or like you have
Okay.
knowledge in creating content, right? Yeah. So that's
Okay. Hmm. Okay. So, after you fill the form, like, how was the next step? Like, do you directly talk with your mentor, if I can say that, or do you need to wait for Google response, or maybe when you just fill the form, first of all, we just got an email like, yeah, now we just got your inscription. Yeah, how was the process
okay.
itself?
Yeah, so when I filled the form, uh,
Okay.
the community manager got back to me, uh,
Mm.
and
So it was your own community manager, right?
yeah, so the community manager for GDEs in sub-Saharan Africa. So there are different
Okay.
community managers based on the regions, right? So since I was in Africa, the sub-Saharan Africa community
Okay.
manager will basically be my point of contact. Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, she got back to me that okay, they've assigned me a mentor, so I'll be mentored for um, 3 months. And I mean, this was somewhere in October, and usually the application for GD is usually closed somewhere in November, right? So, I mean, since it's
Mm.
3 months, it means that it's going to enter into December, which means I can only apply the next year, right? Because it's open
Yes.
in January every year. So
I have I have also seen this when I go to the official website and just took a look or the official link. They said that for this year's I think it is already closed,
yeah,
so you need to wait for the next year before apply.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I was mentored for 3 months, and during these 3 months, the focus was creating a lot of content, right? So,
Okay.
speaking at a lot of events, international events,
Mm.
writing like a lot of articles, more articles, recording like video tutorials. And I mean, the interesting thing was I already have a lot of GitHub Stack Overflow contributions, right? It's something that I usually do sometimes, like at work when I'm a little tired. I just go to Stack Overflow, start looking for questions on Flutter, Dart, Firebase to answer. So I already have like a long stack of like questions that I've answered. So yeah, I didn't really do anything much on that side, and GitHub contribution. So at the end of the day, I mean, during these 3 months, it was just like creating like content, like refining my community CV because I had a lot of missing details, right? So
Okay.
my mentor like encouraged me to always go and look for like places I spoke at and include them because it's very important, right? Which I did.
Okay.
So by December, I mean, I was basically set. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's very it was, I can say, like very fast for you,
Yeah,
especially because you was being supported by your mentor. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah. She was very, very helpful. Like I'm always very
Mm,
thankful to her.
yeah. So you were mentioned first of all, like the main important qualification required for being GDE is to share content online, not especially online, but I think it is if you share it online, right, it's great. And in the form, did they mention that maybe you want to got like this number of the video, this number of article, this number of the contribution, or it was free for you, for example, to say, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's no limit on the number of articles like you should write. I mean,
Mm,
the thing is, you should just have like, I mean, a good number of articles that you've written because you are trying to demonstrate that you are an expert in a field, right? So I mean,
okay.
expert in the field, you are going to produce a lot of quality articles, quality
Mm,
video, quality talks, right? So basically, that is the main focus, right? Like it's not about like the quantity; it's more like the quality of it.
yeah. Okay. Okay. That's great. And so it was just like one mentor for every student. Every student need um to be like mentoring with one person at least, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I had just one mentor, Maureen. I think she's originally from Kenya, but I think right now
Okay.
she's relocated to I think either Germany or so. Yeah, but I mean, she took her time to actually help me like during this process, right? Like,
Okay.
reviewings. So one thing I I did or she helped me do was always review my talks, right? So before I go for my talks, the slides, right? I send it to her. She goes through it. She's, okay, change this, add this, highlight this, right? Like so, it gives me all those tips to basically like deliver like a perfect presentation. Yeah. And
Okay.
even in my articles, she reads through, and
Okay.
if it's okay, then she can okay. Yeah, I mean this is okay. You can put it out there. Yeah. So as I said, I mean, she was very, very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine. So, after the 3 month like of building your own, I can say like your own document or portfolio or whatever you want to call it. After 3 months spending on building this, especially, did you pass like some test at the end? Like, do you have like, is it was like an interview with some people, maybe directly from Google? What was the next step after you just work on your own portfolio?
Yeah. Uh, so after the portfolio, there's
Mm,
another form that you actually now everything that you've created in your portfolio, like in the Google Sheet, you're not going to transfer all those things to that particular document because like that's the final document that the team at Google they are going to
okay.
review. So
Okay, so everything you were working on, you were working on it, and I can say on your machine, for example. So you were saving them during 3 months, and then after 3 months, you need to, for example, zip your file or your folder and send it to Google for review, something like this.
yeah, so it's not even like sending them a folder. So since it's just text, so they have a
Mm,
form, a very long form that you're going to fill,
okay.
and there's a part for. I mean, what's the contribution based on talks, based on
Mm,
videos, based on this. So basically, I mean, if you structure your community documents very well, I mean, which
okay.
my mentor helped me to do. I mean, you can just copy paste it because I mean it's already in the right structure, right? The title, the date, the number of views that you got, the link to the article, and all that, right? So you can just lift and paste it in there. Then you submit. So, but before that, I mean, before you have been given that link to that form, your mentor has to give them the green light that, okay, yeah, I've mentored him for 3 months. He has shown like very good like example of being like an expert. So I
Okay.
believe I believe like it's time for him to actually go through the process, right? Before, so that's when they actually send you the link for you to apply to the final year. So after that document, they'll get back to you if you are you've been picked to start the interview process. And I think the first interview process is I think the community profile. The community interview. Sorry.
Okay.
So the community interview is basically an interview that another GDE, right, will basically interview you. So that GDE can be anywhere around the world. The person who interviewed me
So
was,
is it a GT from your uh, from the technology you just apply,
yeah,
or it can be a GT for another technology?
no, so from the technology that you apply, because
Okay, okay, okay.
that person will be asking you questions specific to that technology and also some general um, community questions,
Question.
right? So
Okay,
yeah, my interviewer was based in I think either Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I think yeah, either but the United Arab Emirates, that section, and she basically interviewed me, and I mean
okay.
it's just questions like I mean if someone asks you this sort of question, right, and probably you don't even know the answer, I mean how do you respond back to the person, right? I mean so
Okay.
like just trying to know your interpersonal skills, your research skills, how you relate to people, and also some little technical questions on Flutter, right? Like, okay, I mean, what
Yeah.
is this in Flutter? Or if someone asks a question on this, I mean, what the number one topic that people ask questions on in Flutter is state management, right? So
Yeah,
it's
sure,
everywhere.
sure. Everyone is talking about state management is for so
Yeah, I mean, you can never meet a GD in Flutter that will tell you that okay, no one has ever asked him about not every single
mm,
one of us. I mean, people have asked. So I mean, so this is the thing, right? The interview also prepare you for what happens like after you become a JD, sort of, because
yeah,
these are
yeah.
questions that they are asked. So these are questions that they will also ask you to know how you respond, right? I mean, how you
Mm,
construct the response. Or someone tell, okay, this is a very good one. GetX. I mean, like, is should I use GetX, right? And you know how the whole community bashed GetX some time ago, right? So
everyone.
yeah, I mean, how would you answer such questions, right? So it's, I mean, that particular interview, I mean, it
Mm,
was so nice because we vibed a lot because I mean, it's like although I wasn't a GD as at that time, but
okay.
I was asked these questions like even prior that, and these are
Yeah.
questions I've been answering like almost in every talk that I gave, right? So yeah,
Mm,
it was more like just like vibe, like we chatting. Yeah, basically
okay. Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
So
so
so I can say the first interview you passed was like they really want to know if you got some basics on the technology before trying to be expert on it. I mean,
yeah.
it is normal also. So they are going to ask you some few questions. And do you think like they are asking some question like in order to be like hard question for you, sometime to see if you can deal with tricky question, or they really want to measure your expertise on this topic, especially with Flutter.
Okay, I'll probably say the two, right? So, I mean, it's good they ask the hard questions so that
Yeah.
even if you don't answer it there, they
Mm,
they will help you answer it, right? They will show you how to answer it. because
Mm.
that's the important thing. I mean, even if so, personally, my main thought process is, I mean, even if I don't become a GDE, I mean, it won't stop me from speaking at events. Like, I mean, I've been speaking at
Yeah.
events way before even knowing about this GDE thing. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I went into that interview with the mindset of, I mean, I'm going there to learn, like, because now I have like a one-on-one with a GDE. So, I'm going
Yeah.
there to consume knowledge as much as possible. For me, that was basically my thought process. So, yeah, they'll ask you some questions that are very tricky to know
Okay.
how you can respond to. Because I mean, these are questions that people will ask you
When you
after
are making, yeah.
yeah, and also they are also trying to set your knowledge or your expecting knowledge in that technology because it's very
Mm.
important to know okay you have in-depth knowledge on what you are talking about. Yeah, so I'll say, I mean, that's you. But again, it's not like so like difficult questions. No, no, no. I mean, it's questions that, although they are a little tricky, but I mean, if sharing knowledge or yeah, sharing knowledge is a passion that you have, you probably
Mm.
meet that question before, and you may have already
Sure.
answered the question before. So it wouldn't be that
Mm.
more of like a big deal to you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can feel you. And do you have this was the first interview you got? Do you have like another one during the process, or is was like the only one you got? Yeah.
Yeah, so so for each of the interview process, you are basically you are basically giving more or less like a message that okay, yeah, you've passed this level, you can move. So the first one was the application, right?
Mm.
And the second one is the community interview. So after the community interview, I got an email. I mean, I was so happy that that I've passed the community
The
interview
first
stage.
step. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next stage is the product interview, and that is with a Googler, someone working on the Flutter team, the Flutter and that team, right? So,
Oh,
um,
that's pretty interesting.
yeah, and I mean, that is the technical um, interview, right? Like it's a bit technical, and
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you need to schedule a time with the Googler, and I
And
mean,
sorry to cut you, but what was the duration of the first interview, for example? Is it like something just for 20 minutes or I don't know, 30 minutes?
I'll probably say it was like um 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was more of a chat, so I mean,
Yeah.
time will go by and you wouldn't know, right? So yeah,
It was very
yeah,
flexible, right?
yeah. I mean, it
Okay.
was yeah. So I mean, for the third interview, which is the product interview, I mean, my interviewer was somewhere in Australia, right?
Okay.
So, and I think the time difference was about 7 hours, 8 hours. I mean, it's quite
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I remember, I think either it was afternoon for him, right?
Mm.
And it was somewhere like, was it 2 a.m.? Yeah, 2 a.m. for me here, right? For me in Ghana. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah,
But,
I
but,
mean,
but you can't miss this.
I mean, I had to stay awake, and I was actually nervous because I mean, like that's like a technical interview, and with someone working on the Flutter team themselves, right?
Right.
So yeah, and I mean, we actually had the call, and I mean, I wouldn't say either I over prepared myself or maybe I've been doing Flutter for a very long time, so I've had a brush with almost like everything he asked about, right?
Mm.
So
And how was the maybe some example of the question he just asked you during this second interview, which was like very technical. Yeah.
okay, yeah, so um, I don't remember the exact, but I think he asked question on is it trees? Yeah, the trees in Flutter. Yeah,
Okay.
and I think something on build context. I mean, what is build context? What's its purpose? And all that. Yeah, I think these are the two questions that I actually like sort of remember. Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean the rest were again questions on okay, if someone asks a question on state management, I mean, how would you go about answering it, right? Or someone asks you, okay, I mean, I have X and Y project. I mean, what statement should I use? I mean, how would you actually give an answer without picking a solution for the person? Because I mean, you're not supposed to pick a
Oh,
solution for the person, right? But you need to help
yeah.
the person be able to decide what solution would be best for their project, right? So
Mm.
that's the sort of question.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean that question was also like very, I mean, very nice. I learned like a lot like during that interview.
Yeah.
Uh, I also asked some questions. I mean, it's. I mean, it was fun. It's a fun experience for me. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it
Yeah.
was perfect. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
that was like
Sorry for cutting you, but there is someone in the chat section who is asking. I think he missed just the beginning of the live. So, how many years of experience does you have, please? Yeah. So he's asking you
I
basically
started Flutter in 2018. So that's about
4 years now,
yes.
4 or 5 years, I think. Mm.
Yeah, that's about. So I think this is either my fifth year. Yeah, sort of. So I mean, I've been doing
Oh,
Flutter since it was alpha. I mean, when it wasn't in public, that was when I actually started playing around with it. So yeah, I mean,
okay. Yeah.
I've been in the game for long. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So I mean, the product interview is the last like interview, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
after that interview, you just wait, right, for the final uh, email, whether you've gone through or not. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, someone is asking. I think he also missed some part of the. Sorry, I'm asking the question directly so people can just get response. So he said that did Google approach you to become like a GD or did you apply yourself?
Okay.
So little reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was basically recommended. I was recommended to the Google team by the GDG lead, right? So Google Developer Group, the local chapter, the lead recommended me, like sort of like mentioned my name to them. Like, hey, like I have this guy. He has been speaking at events for a very long time. I'm sure most of you already know him. They mentioned it. They were like, yeah, I mean, we know him, right? So
Okay.
basically, sorry. So basically, that's how the process started. So I'll say, I mean, it's like an introduction from the GDG lead and more
Okay.
or less a nomination from a Googler. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. That's great. And yeah, I got some few questions before we continue maybe on professional impact this can have. And what were the biggest challenge you faced, like of become a GD? Because you are talking, people can think that, oh, maybe it is just very easy. Everyone can become like GD just in 1 month. But yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, I mean, being a GD, I mean, it's really fun. It opens a lot of doors for you. Um, but becoming a GD, right? The process is a little demanding. Now, this is what a lot of people don't actually know. They think being a GD is like just you being good in creating apps, but
Yeah.
that is not it. Like it's far from that. I mean, being a GD is you sharing knowledge. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's you sharing knowledge, right? And you know, sharing
Mm.
knowledge is actually not easy because first of all,
Yes,
you have to do some extra research, and you have to
of
put
course. Yeah.
your presentation. I mean, if it's article, I mean, you have to write lines and lines and lines explaining
Mhm.
what you want. If it's a video, you're going to do about two or three videos and delete them and like
What? Yeah,
create
I
more.
can, I can confirm. I can confirm what you just say now because sometimes people think that maybe it's just like very easy to just create a video because you are a developer. I mean, it is very wrong because you want to make sure that what you are going to explain directly, for example, like good for people and also easy for people who are going to watch it because sometimes when people come to watch your video, it means that he want to get a response, but fast and simply response. Like so, your tutorial need to be more clear as possible. So you need to make sure that okay, this tutorial I need to do something very cool, for example,
Yes.
also, but very simply people can really understand and say, ah, I can do it. Also, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So, and even apart from doing all that, you don't have to sit down and edit the video, right? Like that is the part that consumes a lot of time. Like you don't have to edit. So again, it takes so much time. And I mean, if you're someone that you're even working like full time, like 9 to 5, I mean, imagine like doing this on the side and having like your normal job, right? So
yeah,
it's so that's why if you don't have the passion, like that's why I think the first thing I mentioned about the passion. If you don't have the passion, you won't be able to actually do it because
mm,
at a point you're going to be tired and fed up, and you may give up, right? But if you have the passion, that's what will basically propel you to continue going, right? And that's one thing. So when I started learning programming, I went to a school that was more business oriented. I mean, that's why I did the business IT, right? Business and IT. So I didn't really have lots of people around me that were programming that I mean, if I'm stuck, I can ask questions.
yeah,
There was no one. So I had lots of friends online, lots of friends in India, in Philippines. But when
mm,
I'm stuck, I go to them, I send them a message on Facebook back
yeah,
then for them to help me out and all that. So that that was basically my main focus. That okay, I mean, I don't want others to experience what I experienced. I mean, not having people around you. That's why
yeah,
I like sharing a lot. Like I'm
yeah,
always experienced writing articles and all that. So yeah, I mean that was basically my passion. So that propelled me to even continue. While sometimes I'm so tired, I'm like, nah, I don't think I can continue this. But again, you wake up and you're back
mm,
at it again, right? So uh, it's not really that easy, but you need to put in the effort. That's the thing. Like it demands a lot of effort. Yeah.
okay,
So, I mean, being a GD in 1 month, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's possible if you already have a lot of content out there, right?
mm,
But if you're not starting up, I mean, you have to stack up a lot of content to match up. Because remember, I mean, you are competing at a global level. It's not local. It's not country, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
All level, right?
yeah.
All other developers across the world that also want to become a GD. And remember, a GD is not like you're a GD for your country, you're a GD for the entire world, right? I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean,
so
it's Google.
if there's an event in San Francisco, right, there's a likelihood that you can be selected or you can apply that you want to go and you'll be sponsored to go. That's the thing. So you're not competing at a local level, competing at a global level, which
Mm,
means I mean you have to be very good and you have to put lots of quality content out there. That's the thing.
yeah.
I mean it's been easy. I mean again, probably it's relative, right?
But yeah, you just mentioned something right now, and I think the question come in my mind. Are you just doing this at full time, like being Google Developer Expert, or are you working on other projects too? Like, what is your current daily routine, for example?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I work in a company. In fact, I work in about two companies.
Okay,
I'm a co-founder and the CTO, and the other I'm a senior mobile engineer. So
okay,
I mean, waking up. work starts at 9 a.m. So waking up, I mean, you start basically reviewing some code, like some PRs that are there,
Yeah.
you know, tackling like tasks that are assigned to you that you're not able to finish, or new tasks that you are taking up and all that. So I mean, I don't do GD. So I don't explain. So being a GD is not something that is, let's say, full time or part time. I mean,
Mm.
it's something that
You-
you are just doing.
Yeah.
I don't say it, but like, I mean, you're just doing it. I mean, if there's a call for a meeting, let's say at 1 p.m. and I have a work meeting, of course, my work meeting is will supersede that meeting, right?
Mm.
Like I have to attend the work meeting first. But if at 1 p.m. I don't have any work meeting, I'll probably join the GDE like meeting and know like the new stuff that they are bringing out there. So yeah, I mean, it's not really like a full time thing or part time thing. It's just something that you just do, right? And I mean, there are some cases that you even have to travel to another country for conference and all that. So I
Yeah.
mean, you need to act the leave period. And I mean, I work in fintech, so there's nothing like leave or holiday in our dictionary, right? I mean, fintech, I mean, it's our people's money, right? So you can't say that I'm going on leave. No, it's a holiday, so I'm not going to work. Or
Mm.
no, no, no. I mean, something can break at any time, and you'll be called in to fix it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we can talk also about professional impact because we just mentioned that sometimes it gives you advantage to travel. So what is, I can say, career benefit, um like how was being a GDE impact your professional career? For example, did it bring you a lot of clients, a lot of people who just say that, yeah, this person, he's GD. I mean, of course, he need to be expert on this technology, especially Flutter, and he's also senior mobile. So yeah, I can work on it. Yeah, because I just trust Google. If Google say he's good, maybe he's good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's actually it has helped me a lot personally.
Mm,
Because sometimes when you enter into some meetings, right,
mm,
and you introduce yourself, and you mention that you're a good developer expert, I mean, you actually raise eyebrows because they're like, oh, okay. I mean, they know now like you're in the presence of someone who understands like whatever they're coming to talk about. So right, like
mm.
it's more or less like I don't have to say, should I say a rep or sort of like, I mean, you have your a credit like to your
Yeah,
name that,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I mean, you are an expert in this field, and it's more or less like in the field that's related
It
to
is like
Google.
during the past when you got like a blue mark on your Twitter account, like you being certified.
Yeah, so I mean, it helps a lot. I mean, sometimes, I mean, when you interview,
Mm,
right? I remember there was this particular interview that I went for. I was looking for a new role, and when I joined, I think the interviewer knows me sort of,
mm.
but didn't know my name. So when I joined, right, and I turned on my camera, the guy was just like, it just opening like, was like, like I've
I
been
think
following you
you
for so
got
many,
some. Just take some minutes.
all right?
Your connection is bit lacking. Um,
Oh, sorry, sorry, it's
yeah.
happens.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I think you just lost your connection during a few seconds. But yeah, you were talking about when you got like interview directly. The person was some kind of shocked. But yeah, continue.
Yeah,
You can.
yeah. So I mean, there was this particular yeah, there was this particular interview. I mean, when I joined and I turned on my camera, when the guy saw me, he was actually surprised. He was like, I mean, I've been following you for so many years. I've been consuming some of your videos, right? And he even mentioned an event that I spoke at. That I was like, oh, okay. I mean, but I mean, at this particular moment, I mean, you are like my oga. So I mean,
Yeah,
review me, right? And I think he was feeling a bit uncomfortable because it feels like, I mean, I know more than him. So should
yeah,
we
yeah.
all the way around? I was wow. He actually told me, I was like, nah, I mean, this is an interview, right? I mean, you are the one in charge, so you should just ask your questions. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
I mean, it's I mean, it actually helps a lot because
Mm.
there's this thing. So we actually in a group with some of the Google engineers, some of the engineers that are actually working on the SDK, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and I mean, your voice matters. So if they are implementing something new or they are trying to introduce something new, they actually ask the community, the GDE community, that, okay, we want to
How
do
do you?
X and Y, Z. Do you guys feel it is good? It's a good approach, or we've done X and Y, Z. Can you guys check it out and give us feedback how
Okay.
we can improve it or change it before we push it out to the to public, right? So there's that communication between us. The other thing is, I mean, the travels. I mean, you get a chance to travel to other countries to speak at lots of events.
Mm.
Uh, what again? Um I mean, I think basically that's it, right? I mean, I mean, you get to meet other professionals because, I mean, the GDE group is all the GDs across the globe, and I mean, there are some people that I mean I've actually met that they've been coding for about 20 years, right? I mean, they are 20 years in
Mm.
the so such person you can easily approach them and ask them. I mean, 20 years. I mean, how did you do it? What? So like it's like you have access to resource people and resources at
Mm.
yeah at your own measure. So yeah, I mean basically that's it. I mean there are lots of benefits if you become a cheerleader.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. So, I think you already responded to my next question because I was thinking about ask you like, can you talk about networking and professional opportunities? Because I think when you got the like GDE certificate, if I can call it that, people can easily trust you and say that if this person has been validated by Google, so it means that I can easily trust him. Like he know what he's talking about, especially. And are you the only like GD on your current work, or maybe there are also others in your teams? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean for Flutter, I mean they actually like a lot. I think either Flutter is so in Africa. Flutter is probably the Flutter is the one having the highest number of GDs. I think in
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
Uh,
Since I think for 2 or 3 years now, there is a lot of people who got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it's actually very, very good because I mean, at first, I think there was only like one GD
Mm.
from Nigeria, and I mean, he can't serve the entire like Africa region, right? I mean, he's just one
Mm.
person. So then there was a second, that was Maureen, that was my mentor. And again,
Yes.
it's still not enough.
Mm.
So I mean that introduced like a new range of like GDEs that like came in. And now I mean although still in my country I'm the only one, which
Okay.
yeah, which is still bad. I mean, we are hoping to get a second person very soon, and I mean,
Okay.
it's actually like difficult because most people, I don't know if they are shy of sharing, right? I mean,
I mean,
personally,
it is not very easy, also.
yeah, that's how I actually was. Like, I mean, I didn't like speaking at events or speaking in public. Like, I always like to be the guy in the corner that no one notices, right? But
Mm.
at a point in your career, like you have to decide that okay, I mean, do you want to be that guy that's always in the corner, or you want to be the guy that is able to contribute back to whatever you are consuming? That's the
Yeah.
thing. So you need to take that stand and put in steps. I mean, I had to be watching YouTube tutorials on how to speak at public events, like basically get those skills. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
really having those skills.
I
So
think it is very important for software engineer also to got those kind of skill because a lot of people think that if you are good of coding, I think it's you are going to be rich or because you got like those skills. But the reality is like totally different when you get in the when you work with company, when you work with client. I mean, they very don't care about your your hard skill.
I
Like
mean,
the just need soft skill gets more important sometimes. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I mean, even if you look into the world and look at some of the rich like software engineers out there, they're not the ones that are what you call code monkey, like they always code. They're the ones
Mm,
that you see them on stage speaking at these events and doing like the ones that are outspoken. They are usually the ones that because again, like they develop that good interpersonal skills and communication skills that
mm.
propel them. So I mean, it's something that I advise every engineer to actually um, learn. If you don't have it, I mean, you can take courses on it and develop it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or we can practice also, but yeah, it really depends. So, how was a Flutter? How has Flutter influenced your work as developer? Uh, because I think, yeah, we can say that Flutter give you all of
Yeah.
this, right?
So before Flutter, right, I was doing native Android, and if
I have tried this one at the beginning, but I just tell myself that maybe I'm not, I, I don't come to this world to work with only Android. I need to find something special for me.
so I actually did like native Android, the one with the XML, right? Like, and I think later on that's when the Kotlin was introduced. And
Mm.
so the thing is working with Android is, I mean, you need to design your interface, like do the drag and drop or write the code in XML. Then you write your
Yeah.
Java code and you link it together and all that, right? It's stress. Like imagine you're trying to create just a list. It's a list of contacts. You need to
Mm.
now back in the days, you need to create an adapter, and then you have your UI code, you have a fragment, then you have
Yes,
your
I
your
remember those.
your main code. So basically, you give the data to adapter, then
Mm.
adapter will create. That's so much, right? And back then, I was working in a company called Ecotel, and we were creating a delivery app. I mean, back then,
Okay.
I think we're the ones that started this whole like delivery app thing because
Mm.
when we started, I mean, there wasn't any like social solution out there. So I
Okay.
was working on the rider side, so the motor riders, the app that they use,
Mm.
and it was written in Android Java. I mean, we're done. I mean, it was a good project. We're done, but we had lots of a fleet of um, vehicles. So apart from motor, there's saloon cars, trucks, and all that.
Mm.
Then some saloon drivers started coming with iOS iPhones. So we're like, oh.
Mm.
So at this point, it was so the user side was created with Ionic, right? So it was a
Okay.
mix between me
Yeah.
learning me learning Ionic and rewriting the app in Ionic, or me learning React Native because that was the time that React Native was booming, right?
Yes. Sure. Also.
Or me also learning native iOS, so that's like Swift and creating like the UI, the iOS version.
Mm.
Yeah, but I was like, I mean, so one day I think I was comparing the options, and that was when I saw Flutter online. I think on YouTube, and I tried it. It didn't work. I couldn't install it. And later on, when I installed it, I didn't understand anything because
Mm.
it was declarative and it was in that language. I mean, I
Yeah.
had no.
I
I mean,
mean, the syntax, if you are someone who had already worked with other language, first of all, before come to Flutter, you are going to see it like it is very weird because the syntax is totally different and you got some code fees like this. You are, what is
yeah,
this? Yeah. So,
I mean, so since I came from the Android background, I was expecting to see something that I can do drag and drop,
mm,
but Flutter there's no drag and drop. So I was
yes.
like, what is this, right? And I started learning. So I was told to basically bring my decision like in 2 weeks time, which
Okay.
language I'll be going for, framework I'll be going for.
Mm,
And I'm like, nah, I mean, let me learn this thing. So when I went to YouTube, there was only one tutorial on Flutter, right? from a guy from India called Pawan. I mean, he was the only one that was having tutorial on Flutter
mm,
on YouTube, which is crazy. But luckily for me, I've been consuming videos
mm.
from India developers for a time, so I could hear their language. I could understand what they say.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So I was able to learn. So I was actually learning and building, rebuilding the app at the same time, right? Like
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. I think everybody has to eat first at the beginning, but
And I mean, I was able to get it done.
mm,
So when it got to a stage, I told them that look, I have a hang of a new framework that I believe will be doing well like in the years come. So let me use that to create it to give us Android and iOS, right?
mm,
So let me use that. So we're like, okay, fine. I mean, go for it. So funny enough, I mean, the original project took us about 7 months, right? It was a 7 months project. The native Android. I rebuilt the entire app in Flutter in 6 weeks.
my
And
God.
the entire team was amazed because they were like,
Mm,
how? Because one day they were like, oh, I should demo what I've done so far. And I told them I was done. They didn't understand. Like, yeah, I
mm,
was done, right? So they got me a MacBook. We had to go through the setup, run the iOS version. And they saw the iOS version for the first time. They were like,
yeah.
everyone was amazed, right? So, I mean, ever since
And
then,
the difference between React Native and Flutter when you decide to build your app on iOS, we are going to have the same version with Flutter, but
yeah,
I mean with native component on React Native, the component are going to change. So sometimes it's like before, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, ever since then, I've been doing like Flutter. So then this in 2018, right? So ever since then, I've just been consuming Flutter, right? And luckily, other engineers came up with tutorials on Flutter, like now increasing the ecosystem.
Mm,
And in fact, I think Pound was like the first like GDEs in Flutter, right? I mean, like they were like the OGs, right?
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's lots of content out there now you can consume. There were code labs that now help you to also learn Flutter and a whole lot. So yeah, I mean, basically for me, that's how I started Flutter, and ever since then, I've just been doing Flutter. Along the way, I actually, because I wanted to be very good in Flutter, I decided to take a course in native iOS app development. So I learned Swift and Swift UI, which I
Mm,
did for about a year, right? So this actually helped me become very good in Flutter because now, I can solve like issues without having to like ask someone, okay, how do you do this in iOS? No, I can write the iOS app myself. So I just read the
yeah.
errors and fix it myself. So which I'll advise every Flutter engineer, don't just
Mm.
focus on Flutter, right? Try and learn the native platforms to give
That is
you.
very important. I think in some app, or I think maybe those developer have already faced this, but especially when I think the last 2 or 3 app that I was working on, I have delved to native code. I think you at some point you are not going to have a choice. You have to
Yeah,
work with platform integrate directly. So yeah, we are going to do it. For example, if I took like NFC feature,
mhm.
especially, I just integrated some month ago. Now I don't have choice. Like I need to use Android especially on Swift iOS. So yeah.
Yeah, you have to. When during my time, I was using this geofence library, and there was only one of that library on the entire pub.dev, right? And it involves a lot of native configuration. It was like a crazy time, right? So I had to write like iOS Swift code, and
Okay.
then write like Android code. Right? That's like Java to get it like to work. It's
Mm,
so our advice, try and learn the native platforms. It's very important. It will give you an advantage over others. Yeah.
sure. So I think we are reaching at the end of this amazing because you got our time to us and you dedicate it tonight. But before we just start, like everyone come here, and I mean people are going to watch the video during all the week because I'm going to tease it. This is very important. Um, what advice would you give to someone aspiring to become like web developer expert? Yeah.
Okay. Um, so the first thing I would probably say is um, you need to develop that passion of sharing.
Okay.
Sharing is like the bedrock of being a GDE. Like you need to share your knowledge, you need to create content,
Mm,
right? It's not about how good you are in programming, right? It's about how well or how willing you're actually willing to share like your knowledge
yeah.
to a wide range of people, and how
Mm,
clearly you can explain very complex topics
mm,
to people and they will basically understand it. So if you are aspiring to be a GDE, start by speaking at events. I mean, in your local chapter, it doesn't have to even be like so international. No, I mean, I started from my local chapter, right? From speaking at universities to
yeah.
my GDG Accra, GDD Kumasi, and all that, right?
Mm,
Um, so like just speaking at the local like events and writing articles. So if you're creating an app and you face a unique problem and you face a problem and you're able to fix it, right? you
mm,
can you can document it, like write on it or create a video tutorial on, okay, this is the problem, this is how I fixed it, right?
mm,
Basically that is it, because once you start doing that, you start learning how to create content,
mm,
and that is like the pathway. Because once you start creating content, the next thing is you need to also sell yourself. I mean, I remember there's this videos I watched. They said as software engineers, the product that we you sell is yourself. I mean, you need to market yourself. I mean,
mm,
it's not like a marketing guy that will have to go and sell the product. I mean, you are the marketing guy, and the
mm,
product that you are going to market out there is you yourself, because you need to sell out your skill that, I mean, you are good at what you do. So you need to put yourself out there. I mean, go to Twitter, like you've worked on a cool app, put it there. Hey, like everyone, I worked on this. You can check it out here. You can give me feedback on what I can do better on this app or what I can improve. Uh,
mm,
that's it, right? Put yourself out there, because when people around you start getting to know what you can do, that is what basically gives you more leverage. Because I mean, again, I mean, Google is somewhere, or the community managers are somewhere. they
yeah.
don't they don't know everyone, but again, it's someone that can recommend you to them, or they seeing what you've done, then that's when they can
Mm,
approach you, or
mm,
another GD seeing what you've done so far and approaching, okay, would you like to be a GD? I can
mm,
put it for you, right?
yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, it is you putting yourself out there and creating content, right?
Mm,
That's the bedrock. So if you don't have like those skills, try working on them now. If you have those things, try working on them now. Create content. I mean, videos, text, articles.
yeah. I
Everything.
have I have just the last question, please come just in my mind right now because I remember something like on LinkedIn there is um one GD who just decided to post. He post like I think I like his message. He was saying that I'm not become a GD because I want to be like GD especially, but uh, I really like what I'm doing, like sharing content with people. It is like a really pleasure for me to share content. And he was saying that GD is some kind of certificate you need to renew every year.
Yeah,
So if you didn't um, fill some task, you are not going to get your certificate renewed by Google. So he was saying if there is 1 year, for example, and he Google doesn't renew his certificate, he are going to continue also to share content. Like it won't be like a gap for him or something which are going to stop him.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, if you speak with most of the GDEs, you realize that, I mean, we all have this mindset because it's like before we became GDEs, we were creating content, we're sharing content, we're sharing knowledge.
yeah,
So even after GD, we'll continue doing that, or in the absence of being a GD, we will continue
mm,
still doing that because
sure.
that's something
Mm,
that we love doing, and it's not something that we'll continue doing. So if you are aspiring to be a GD, I mean, you should have that sort of mindset. That, I mean,
mm,
if you don't become a GD, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. No, there's nothing of that sort.
yeah,
You just need to push yourself more to get
mm,
like what you want. That's all, and that's all. Creating content and helping others, because there are lots of people that need helping. Right?
mm,
There are beginners in the community like every single day, and these are people that. So when we started, there was fewer content to consume on Flutter, right? So
mm,
so we're able to more or less easily navigate it. But at this point, there are a lot of content out there. I
a
mean,
lot.
you go
Like
to
there's a lot of content.
if you go to YouTube and you type in Flutter, the number of
Like there is a huge list now.
yeah, right, and I mean the question now be which one is the best? Which one should I go for, right? But our time, you only have one. What are you going for? Only that one. So it was easier on our part, right? But I mean, in today's world, I mean, there are lots of content, so they will have to navigate. So you can help them navigate by, okay, I've tried this tutorial and it's very good. You can create a list of tutorial you feel like, I mean, they are very good for beginners and all that. You
Mm,
can so you can always contribute one way or the other. That's the thing.
yeah. Mm. Okay. Thanks. That is the only word I can say tonight. I think you have shared a lot with us, and I hope this video are going to help people who really want to become GD also in their career or to get in touch with GD. Bright are going to join our Telegram group. So if you want to talk with him or ask him a question after this video, you can also. And yeah, that is the last word I just want to say to you. Like, thanks. I don't know
Uh,
if you got something before we end, but yeah.
oh no, I think I don't have much. Thank you very much for having me. I mean, it's a pleasure. I mean, I always like speaking to other engineers and helping them, like
Mm,
in what they do. Again, I will encourage everyone to share what they know. Right? I mean, you don't have to be an expert in that field to share what you know. I mean, again,
mm,
once you try something and it works for you, you can always tell someone how you did it because you never know someone who is actually watching. Because again, I mean, with my journey, I never knew there were Googlers that were actually watching what I was doing for all these years, right?
mm,
And
mm,
it was a shock to me that I mean, when I got introduced to them, they were like, "Oh, they already know this guy," and
mm,
also, I mean, you speak at events and someone be like, "Hey, I've watched your tutorial somewhere or I read your article somewhere," right? I mean, it's all about sharing content, and that is the way for it. That's the way of the community, right?
mm,
Because in order for us to make the community more friendly or bigger, I mean, we need to create like content to help everyone on each level, beginner, intermediate, expert,
mm,
get a hand of the technology. So again, it doesn't also have to be Flutter. As I said, there are lots of technologies out there. So you can just pick any of them that you're comfortable with and just go with that technology. Again, keep sharing. Yeah, that's all.
sure. Of course. On Flutter guys, we are going to do it. And yeah, that is my last word. Thanks again for coming there.
Yeah,
Choose guys. And don't forget to subscribe and to like. We need this also.
I saw. Yeah.